Hey guys, this is Abhishek from Technics Media, and today we are going to do a quick comparison of Micromax Canvas HT, which is this one, and Micromax Canvas 2, which is this one. The model number of these devices is A116 and A110, and we will address these devices as A116 and A110 in this video. So let's start the comparison. Talking about the specifications of these devices, Micromax Canvas A110 has got an IPS LCD capacitive touchscreen which is 16 million in colors, whereas the resolution on the display is 480 into 854 pixels per inch. The display size is 5 inches on both of these devices, whereas the resolution is different. A116 has got a high definition resolution of 720 into 1280 pixels, which gives you a pixel density of around 294 pixels per inch. So the display is quite sharper on this one, and it is much more vibrant in terms of the colors if we talk about on A116 as compared to the A110 which we have here with us. If we talk about the colors of these devices, both of these devices come in white and black color. If we take a look over the other specifications of the device, the weight of A116 is around 156 gram, whereas A110 is around 168 gram. Whereas if we talk about other things about the devices, in terms of the storage, in terms of the internal storage, A116 comes with an internal storage of 4 GB, out of which around 1.77 GB is actually available to the user, whereas you get 4 GB of internal storage on A110 as well, and out of which around 2 GB is actually available to the user. If I talk about the RAM, this one has got 1 GB of RAM. A116 has got 1 GB of RAM, whereas A110 has got 512 MB of RAM, which is actually half the RAM which A116 has. As far as the connectivity is concerned, both of these devices support 3G and Wi-Fi both. If I talk about the processor on the devices, A116 has got quad-core 1.2 GHz processor, which is a Cortex A7 architecture based processor, and it is actually a MediaTek processor, whereas A110 has got a dual core 1 GHz processor, which is based on Cortex A9 architecture. If we talk about the GPU on these devices, the GPU on A116 is PowerVR STX 544, whereas the GPU on A110 is PowerVR STX 531. As far as camera is concerned, both of these devices have 8 megapixel camera, although the quality of the pictures is much better on A116 with the 8 megapixel camera as compared to the 8 megapixel camera on A110. And then if we talk about the overall build quality, in terms of the build quality, both of these devices are pretty much different from each other, because the kind of material which has been used while designing and while manufacturing A110, which is this one, is not very high. It feels much more plastic, whereas on A116 the kind of plastic which has been used to design the back cover, the front, as well as the edge of the phone, it looks much more premium as compared to A110. There is a big difference in terms of the build quality as far as both of these phones are concerned. You have a chrome lining on the edges of A110, whereas you have a black lining basically on A116, but still the overall quality of material as well as the glass, so it is again the quality of glass to make the back cover is much more premium on A116. A116 has got a glossy back cover which is creamish in nature in terms of the color, and whereas A110 has got the white back cover which is again plastic in nature, and the quality of plastic is on A116 as compared to A110. It feels kind of plastic basically, and it doesn't feel as premium as A116 actually feels like. Whereas if we talk about the overall form factor, both of these devices are equally portable, although A116 is slightly lighter than A110. And if we talk about the camera is quite bulging out on A110, as you can see, whereas it is quite inside the body on A116, as you can see. So basically this will affect sometimes whenever you want to put the phone inside the pocket, because of this extra edge over the body, it might be difficult sometimes to put the phone inside the pocket. If I talk about the overall price at which A116 and A110 comes, A116 comes at a price of 14,000 Indian rupees, whereas A110 comes at a price of around 10,000 Indian rupees. So in terms of the price difference, there is a considerable price difference in between both of these devices. Dual SIM support is concerned, both of these devices support dual SIM, and they also support micro SD card at the same location to actually expand the storage of the device. The default storage on both of these devices is 4 GB, although A116 has around 1.77 GB which is available to the user, and A110 has 2 GB of available user memory. When it comes to battery, both of these devices have 2000 mAh battery, which is same. And for the camera, both of these devices have 8 megapixel camera, but the quality of pictures as well as video is much better on Canvas HD, that is A116, because this camera actually can record high definition video at 1080p as well as it can play high definition video. Although as far as the playback is concerned, A110 can also play high definition videos both at 720p as well as at 1080p. As far as the display size and the resolution of display is concerned, on A116 and A110, A110 has got a native resolution of 480 into 800, which is quite low if you compare it with A116, which has got a high definition resolution, that is 720 into 1280. And if I move both of these phones very closer to the camera, you can actually find out the overall difference in terms of the display on both of these devices. The display on A116 is much more sharp, much more clear in terms of the color. The quality of color reproduction as well as the saturation of colors is much better on A116, whereas on A110 it is not very sharp but as compared to A116, but again it is not bad also, because the overall text which you see on the screen, there is no pixelation of the text if I can notice with my eyes or with the camera. If you can notice, far as the Antutu benchmark utility is concerned, we ran the utility on both of these devices, and the score on A110 is 6005. So the overall score, A116 is actually has an edge over A110. As far as Nina Mark scores are concerned, we have got 40.9 FPS on A116, whereas on A110 we get 25.3 FPS, which is fairly low as compared to A116. So in terms of the overall gaming and the performance of the graphics, A116 will be capable of running high graphic intensive game, whereas you might not be able to play some of the graphic intensive game like Nova 3, Shadowgun and Modern Combat 3 on A110. As far as the multi-touch is concerned, both of these devices support 5-point multi-touch, which is same on A116 as well as on A110. As far as front camera is concerned, the front camera on A110 is 0.3 megapixel, whereas the front camera on A116 is 2 megapixel. Let me just show you the interface of both of these. So this is how the display will look like from the front camera on both of these devices. As you can see, the display is kind of hazy on A110, as you can notice, whereas it is much more colorful on A116. A116 has a front camera of 2 megapixel, whereas A110 has a front camera of 0. So this is how the display will look like from the front camera on both of these devices. As you can see, the display is kind of hazy on A110, as you can notice, whereas it is much more colorful on A116. A116 has a front camera of 2 megapixel, whereas A110 has a front camera of 0. If I talk about the 8 megapixel camera on the back on A116 and A110, this is how the view will look like when you have the same camera UI launched on both of these devices. The view on A116 is much more brighter in terms of the clears, and it does autofocus automatically on the object, whereas A110 on the other hand takes some more time to actually focus on that object. You do have tap to focus on both of these devices when it comes to taking photos, so it will automatically focus, and it will also use one of the flash as a focus assist lamp basically. And if I talk about the UI of the camera, the UI of the camera is stock Android on A110, whereas the camera UI is much more optimized to make it look better on A116 as such. And if I talk about the same photo, let me just take the photo of this object on both of these devices. Now we will take the photo with A110. Let me just turn off the flash. So this is how the photo is actually looking like of the same object captured with the camera on these devices. A110 on the other hand, the photo is quite dark in terms of the overall color reproduction, whereas it is much brighter on A116, and the overall clarity of the object is much better on A116 photo, whereas the clarity of the object is not so good on A110. I see a certain amount of softness in the photo which we have captured from A110 as compared to A116. As far as the video recording is concerned, you can shoot high definition videos on both of these devices, whereas A110 is capable of recording videos at maximum resolution of 720p, whereas you can record videos at 720p as well as at 1080p on A116. As far as the battery backup on A110 and A116 is concerned, both of these phones will give you around 5 hours of talk time. And if you talk about the overall backup in terms of hours of standby, then A116 slightly has a lower standby because of the high display resolution, so it will tend to consume more battery as compared to A110. But both of these phones will last you for more than 1 day if you are a moderate user, and if you are a heavy user, then they will be dying out within 1 day. Now talking about the high definition video playback, let me just play a high definition video, the same high definition video on both of these devices. So here we have the same set of videos on A110 as well as on A116, and let's try to play a high definition video at 720p. First of all, let me just play this video. This is a video which is playing on 720p. This video is recorded at 720p, as you can see. Let me just play this video on both of these devices together. So as you can see, the 720p video is running smoothly without any issues on A116, whereas it is not showing the display. Although the video is playing in the background, maybe I don't know why, but it is not showing anything on the display on A110. Let's play this video which is recorded at 1080p on both of these devices. So this 1080p video is running smoothly on A116, as you can see. I can forward the video to a specific time and it will play instantly from that time, whereas on A110 the display is not there. Nothing is actually displayed while playing this high definition video. As far as the audio quality which you get on these devices, on A116 you get the standard headphones within the package, and then you have the same quality of headphones that comes with A110 as well. So the quality of headphones is the same, but the quality of overall sound in terms of the bass and the treble levels is much better on A116 as per our own experience during our review. So as far as the video playback is concerned on A116 and A110, right now we are playing the same video on A116 as well as on A110. A116 has Jelly Bean 4.1.2 preloaded on the device, whereas A110 comes with Android Ice Cream Sandwich 4.0.4 out of the box. When it comes to the YouTube app is actually web-based app on A110, where it is a full-fledged app on A116 which comes pre-installed. So as you can see, this is how the video playback looks like when you play a high definition video from YouTube on both of these devices. The display on A116 is quite vibrant. It is quite brighter in terms of the colors, as well as in terms of the display is much more clear on A116 because it is actually playing this video at high definition. Because of the high definition screen, it can actually play the YouTube videos at high definition, whereas the same video is playing in high quality on A110. And this is how the video quality looks like on both of these devices. Now if we talk about both of these devices, both A116 as well as A110 are the devices which offer value for money. In terms of the display size, you get the same display size on both of these devices, whereas if you spend around 10,000 Indian rupees, you will get a display which is slightly lower resolution, but the display size will be same as A116, which comes at a price of around 14,000 Indian rupees. Whereas with 14,000 Indian rupees, you get a high definition display on this device, which is quite good, and the overall video playback as well as the clarity of pictures and videos is quite good on A116 as compared to A110. So in all, to conclude this comparative review of both of these devices are equally good in terms of the features they offer as per the price they come. As far as the hardware is concerned, at 10,000 Indian rupees you get a decent hardware on A110, whereas as per the features and the hardware which you get on 14,000 rupees on A116 is again very good. As far as the gaming is concerned, you will be able to play normal low graphic intensive game basically, whereas some of the high graphic intensive game won't be able to play or may not play on A110. Whereas when it comes to playing high definition videos, you can actually play high definition videos up to 720p on A110 as per our test, but there might be some problems sometimes for videos which are recorded at 1080p. So now the decision is yours, whichever device you want to buy from Micromax. Both of these devices are equally good in terms of the overall features and the price at which they comes. So that's all from us as far as the comparative review of these devices is concerned. Do let us know if you have any questions.